Hey everybody, this is Brett here. I'm just dropping in for some narration of the underwater portion of this video. I was there, I was walking around and I was like, whoa, the water's clear. Maybe I should go get my drone. So I actually went back and got my drone and chucked it in the river. And what I wanted to see was what it looked like, what the ice looked like from below. And this is what it looks like. This ice is clear, but it's got a bunch of stuff stuck in it. And there you can see the space between the ice and the rocky floor of the rocky bed of the river. And I hit the ice here, dislodging a bunch of what I think is just dirt, clumps of dirt stuck in the ice. It's raining dirt. I thought it was a pretty neat shot. Off in the distance, you can see a big free-floating chunk of ice. And here were hundreds, if not thousands, of little fish that seem to inhabit this part of the river. I don't know if they're minnows or creek chub, shiners. Not all of the ice was chunky. Some of it was flat, as you can see right there. And sometimes there was more distance in between the bottom and the ice, but it was hard for me to see. I was using my phone as a monitor, and there was a glare, so it wasn't super clear what I was seeing through the drone's camera. But the water was clear. Parts of it were really clear until I stirred it up, which is really the reason that it really caught my attention. The water is usually not this clear in the river. And here you can see this is immediately off the shore. And there's the tether. Now we're back under the ice. And here there's a little bit more space. There's probably, 2-3 feet between the ice and the bottom in this location. This might be a little further out under the ice. I'm not sure because I couldn't see. But it varies greatly in thickness. And there's all kinds of stuff trapped up in it. It's a really kind of an eerie, I want to say lifeless, but it's not lifeless because we did see those fish. It's just a kind of an eerie, creepy vibe under there. And the water was 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you were to slip into this water or get stuck, God forbid, in between the ice and the rocks here, you're going to be hypothermic and dead within minutes. I mean, look at that. That's just creepy, man, Some of the ice was less dirty than other portions of it, but it was all, it seemed to all have stuff in it, except for the very smooth ice. And on the four corners of the image, you can see the stats. There's a temperature, depth, heading, and the pitch. Here's a section where the ice was a little bit smoother and a little higher. And there I descend into a cloud of sediment. I reoriented, looking back now. Now, if you watch here, you'll see I go sideways right there, okay? And I go sideways away another time. That's me running out of tether, trying to get the drone back. And that's when I realized that the tether was stuck on something. Look at this stuff. Wow. Look at this. So as you can see, I'm down here on the river, down at long level. And the ice is getting pretty high, as you can see. Most of it is in these kind of size shard chunks of it. Here, let's try to break it. Yeah, so it's pretty thick. See that? So we're looking, I mean, I don't know, that's pretty thick. That's pretty thick. And it's just misty and foggy, and it is freezing. It's a lot. I'd say it's probably 10, it feels 10 degrees, maybe 20 degrees colder
here on the ice than it does up in the valley. I just shot some drone footage, but while I was shooting the drone footage, the underwater drone footage, you can, every once in a while, these flocks of geese come out of the mist, and you can hear their wings flapping, and they kind of come out of the mist, and then they just disappear back into the mist. It's a very cool day here, although it's very cold. See the mist here hanging, and then you go out, you look that way, and it's just, I can't see anything, you know. But down here, I wanted to show you one thing. There's if you go down here to the next boat launch, I don't know if it's there, it might have moved on, but there was this ridge of ice that came up out maybe a couple hundred feet right offshore, and it looks really cool, and I wanted to try to film that. Look at this. See, it is starting to melt there. So here's the boat launch. As you can see, the ice has come up and pretty much destroyed this dock that was here. This is it right here. Nice dock. I mean, you can see flowing water under there. You see that? So it's melting. Oh, look at this dock. Whoa! See that? Whoa! Right there. So this whole dock used to be right, I think it was right there. And the ice coming down just smashed it, twisted the metal. So you know there's some serious weight behind that. And it's just buried right here. The dock, I think the dock goes under there. And then out here, right here, I'd say about maybe 200 feet offshore, there is a high ridge of ice that's been pushed up, and it looks pretty. From out here, I'd say that one part there, it's got to be at least 10-15 feet high to the top, and then it trails down over here. So something is just, here's a good spot. You don't want to fall in. Here, let's just take this. See what it does right there. Now that's pretty solid right there. Let's try another one. Let's see if we can find a spot where it's where the ice is a little thinner, like right here. No. Huh. Look at that. I gotta take some pictures. Now I've seen quite a few boats out of the water on the way down here at the marina. There's a couple of marinas up there. They had lifted up the houseboats, not unlike this one that is basically anchored right offshore. And here we got some of the ice coming up in the trees. Wow. Look at that. It's a very eerie vibe out here. If you listen when it gets quiet, you can hear the river, the ice moving. Did you hear that? I'll pump up the sound. can't see more than a couple 100 feet right offshore. If we could see the other side, that's where Turkey Hill would be right there. And the windmills would be right there. So that's the direction we're looking in. So I was able to get my drone into the water and under the ice up there, just right off the parking lot here at Long Level. And it was difficult because the water was clear, but right offshore, there was a whole rocky, like a field of rocks. And then the ice was there. Maybe only had a foot or two clearance between the ice and the bottom. And I tried to get it out there as far as I could to see what would happen, you know, once you get a little bit farther out where maybe the water gets a little bit deeper. But there was a current, and it's just, I'm not that good of a navigator of that thing. And it's when you got the ice above and the rocks below, you know, you start to get a little antsy about where the drone's going. So I was doing pretty well, and I thought, well, this isn't so too bad, and I decided to wrap it up. So I brought the drone back to shore, picked it up, put it down, and then I pulled on the tether to kind of reel the tether in, and it was like, no, it was stuck. It was wrapped around a rock 100 feet offshore somewhere. And I thought, oh, so I just pulled and pulled, wasn't working. So the only thing I could do was put the drone back in the water. Oh, look at this mist right here. Can you see it? You see it right there? The mist is just rolling off the river. So I had to put the drone back in the water. I went back out to where I thought it was, the tether was caught on a rock. And I just started, I pretty much just flailing around. And I got stuck, you know, and the drone was stuck. And then the battery, it went into low battery mode because it still has that issue with the battery. I only get about 50% out of the battery and it dies. Yeah. And then it went into low battery mode, and it was just there, and I pulled on it, and the drone was out there. So I just started pulling on the tether, hoping, and the tether was loose, and I kind of was like doing this, kind of massaging it back, and I pulled it the whole way back to shore. So hopefully I didn't damage the drone. I don't think I did, but I almost lost it because if I didn't get lucky and just do whatever I did there to untangle it, there was nothing I can do. I'm not gonna go. I can't go into that water to get the drone. I would freeze. I mean, the water was. We'll see when we bring up the footage, but the temperature out there is, the water is really, really cold. I mean, there's really nothing I could have done except pull really, really, really hard, and eventually I probably would have just snapped the tether, and the drone would have been out there. So, and the main problem was that it was just very shallow. There was this big field of rocks. If it just went in, sloped down, you know, into the river, maybe 5, 10, 15 feet of depth, you know, it would have been very easy. I could have just had the drone here. I could have looked up. And as it is, I did get the drone up into the ice, and, you know, I pretty much rammed it up in there. It was not a graceful performance, but I think I did get some pretty cool footage, right? All right, here we are. We're at the bridge. Fishing Creek is clear. And the water's clear too. It gets about 10, 15 feet underneath this bridge. But that looks like the discharge from Fishing Creek is melting the ice that way. Because if you go that way, you still get that ice. But now it's farther out there, you can't quite reach it. Look at this right here. I wish I could get a big rock and bust that open. Well, I can't really find any rocks. They're all gone. And I don't want to slide into the river here. But here's Fishing Creek. And the water's high now. The water's 2-3 feet higher than what it would be over the summer. And you can hear the rapids off in the distance. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thanks for coming along. As always, had a great time. Make sure you hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It's Brett for TopoRanger, signing out.